Bum bum wow. Bum 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 bum. Hello everyone. It is the next day. It is the next day. I say that only because I wanted to preface this block of watching with it is hot as hell today. It was in the 90s. Right now it's dark. We're going on a quarter till 11 p.m. It is still in the 80s right now, so it is super hot. I bring it up because I don't deal with the heat well. So I know this is a little detour. So just as these episodes go on and these reviews go on, I have to keep turning everything on, off, on, off. If I look a little uncomfortable, a little sweaty, all of that, it's because I am. So please bear with me. Also, I stubbed my toe because I got startled by a moth. That is a real sentence because my life is ridiculous. And so is this season so far, kinda. So, beautiful segue, right? We're going to continue on right now. And yeah, we're going to hit episode 4. We're going to see if we can truck through these tonight and finish up and see what's going on with the amalgamation of horror things and also Professor X. So my brain is already kind of like bleh. So these reviews should be interesting. Also, I've had a full day to think about what I watched yesterday. I still stand by everything I said. So, yeah, I just want to throw that out there too. I've had no changes of heart at all. Like I like to say, without further ado, let's get into it. Today,
Relieved. Happy.
Billy, no, it's not true.
That's why you stood there, isn't it, Max?
All right. We just finished episode 4. Can we just say right now, as far as the season is going, that Max is clearly the MVP of the season. I've not really been a fan of her. She's fine. She's a good actress. She tends to play the same role over and over and over. And the few things I've seen her in, she's been pretty much Max and everything else, and she's good at it. I like that we're getting some development with her character here. I still think the thing with Hopper and Joyce and Murray is the absolute weakest part of the story right now. I think you could just cut out Hopper, this whole Hopper thing. Now they've been abducted or something. They're being sold. They're going to be in the labor camp maybe too. I don't know. You could just remove that entire thing. And I think it doesn't change the story at all, other than Joyce not being there when the attack happened. The story goes on fine. It just feels like padding just to give the actors something to do. I think you could have found a better use of Hopper. I think the way Hopper went out at the end of season 3 deserved better if he's going to come back. I don't like it. It feels lazy. It doesn't even feel lazy. It feels stupid. I'm sorry, it does. I'm not into it at all. I like that we have now that the splintered group is slowly, like I talked before about how the group is slowly reforming. You know, like adding a new member each episode, and I like that now the group that moved away is now coming back. So pretty soon the group is going to be a unified front. I don't know, just like the performances are good. They are. And everyone involved in front of the camera is doing phenomenal. They are. I just think the story is so... yeah. But I will say I'm glad that they addressed the whole... I believe it was Steve that addressed the whole, like...
Just pops out in the 50s, kills one family, and is like, yeah, I'm good. And poof, he just disappears, just gone. Only to return 30 years later and start killing some random teens? No, I don't buy it.
So thank you for addressing that. I have said that, you know, when you watch these in real time and you review them in real time, it's an evolution. Because you're getting the story, obviously, an episode at a time. So you don't know the entire thing yet. So I didn't know that the next episode they were actually going to address it. And they did, and I'm happy they did. But yeah, overall, yeah. Yeah. Just nothing feels like a good hook. I'm not buying this monster thing. So, yeah, let's just go to my notes really quick and see what I have that we haven't talked about. So, as they're priming 11 as a weapon again, we do find out something else was touched upon. Another thing that was kind of confused on from the last one was like the government is going to be all of a sudden like, we're going to help you now. But it turns out there's still members of the government that are looking for her in a bad way. And parts of the government that are looking for her in the good way. So I'm glad they addressed that too, because I was a little like, what's going on there? Then wrote himself down. We're gonna save it for the end, because at the end of these reviews now, we're gonna have a monster synopsis. So stay tuned for that. Yuri is really fucking annoying. I try my best to suspend disbelief when it comes to things, but when Hopper was fighting that guard in that shed, like, it wasn't windy, it wasn't storming, it wasn't raining, it wasn't, like, they didn't hear anything until the gunshots. I don't know. It just seems like if you have, like, a slave labor camp, then you would kind of, like, be, okay. Then Hopper's driving away on the snowmobile, and apparently Stormtrooper aim is not relegated to just Star Wars. So, yeah. Overall, I wrote Dr. Hatch is dumb. He's dumb. But then we get this very Hannibal Lecter scene, and can we just give it up for a second for Mr. Robert Englund? The man is a horror treasure, and I'm glad he is in this. One of the highlights of the season so far, easily. Fantastic actor, and I like that having that actor there, and then including his character dealing with fire. It's nice, especially with a creature that can kind of attack you in an alternate dimension in your head, like sleep and all that. Yeah. So we'll get to the end though. We'll get to the end. So the next time I start seeing mutilated animals strewn about, I'm immediately going to think Spawn of Satan. Just because that's the obvious, conclusion to come to. I like the line. I do like the line.
I suppose all evil must have a home.
That was good. Probably one of the better lines of the season so far. And then the police are just coming after everybody now. They're chasing Robin and Nancy, and some kind of police are after the other gang that's running away in the pizza van. I had a theory at first that Billy was going to be her guardian angel, Max's guardian angel, because they mentioned guardian angel, and she was, reading. That was a very touching scene. That was a really nice scene. It really was. Again, I said the actress playing Max is the MVP so far of the season, but no, that wasn't to be. And then I get it. Again, I'm sorry I'm nitpicking so much. I know you're probably pissed off. Like, just sit back and enjoy it. Those words are never good. But the whole music lifeline thing, it's another, like, they keep making these leaps of, logical leaps of faith that are always correct. And I get you need to for the narrative to progress, but I wish there was a little more trying and failing, or the steps to get to that absolute right decision are worked for a little harder. It feels like when I complain about Doctor Who and the guesstimate solution, I guess, is always the right one. That's kind of what this felt like. It is, again, it's fine. I'm not like saying it's detracted from the story. Like, I think the whole Hopper side plot is. I think it's really hindering the story big time. But then they play the music, and Kate Bush running up that hill. I saw some people complaining on my Facebook page about that they wish they would use another Kate Bush song. If you're making a popular franchise and you want to expose people to Kate Bush, why not choose the most popular song to get their feet wet? I wish more people would discover Kate Bush. She's fucking fantastic. Just an amazing artist. I get why they use Running Up That Hill. I get it. And it fucking applied to the scene and what she's going through. So it has symbolism. They're not just using it to be like, oh, look, we're including this song in here now because it's the 80s. So maybe stop being a music snob. And, I don't like people who gatekeep, like gatekeepers, be it movies or music or whatever. Like, your opinion is just that. Stop being a dick about it. If people want to think Kate Bush's Running Up the Hill song is the best song ever, they are fucking allowed to. It's a great song. Do I think it's her best song? No. Do I think it's the best version of that song? No. That might be sacrilegious. I got off on a side tangent there, but just stop gatekeeping. Stop it. Stop it. Your opinion is not the right opinion. It's just an opinion. So, moving on. And then Max is like kind of in the upside down, I guess, like mentally, which is interesting. And then the monster, who we're going to rename here in a second, I have to write it all down because it's getting ridiculous now, says, "What are you doing in here, Max?" So like it presented itself to her without him knowing it, and she just walked into it. But then we see like his world with everyone, trapped in like the sculptures, and they're all like contorted and stuff. Everything's popping. All right, so we have a monster synopsis. New thing now. The monster just keeps evolving into different things. It looks like Jeepers Creepers, has the powers from It Follows, has the motive of I Know What You Did Last Summer, and has the powers of Professor X and Cerebro. Now, it is the Ring. It will kill you in 7 days. On top of that, it is, he's Carrie. He has magic, like, telekinesis powers. They can, like, throw objects. And he kind of has the Resident Evil arm. If you think I'm nitpicking, I'm not. If you think I'm being ridiculous, I'm not. Because right now it is 7 different things. I know you could be like, well, you could say that about everything. Yes, but this is very specific. Also, no, and number 8. He's fucking Freddy Krueger, because he can bring you into like into the dream world and kill you in the dream world. Let's just go to episode 5. I get it. I can just feel the heat. Like I said, it's just getting hotter and hotter. Maybe it's the fires from whatever the fuck. I don't know. Let's just go to episode 5. Let's go to episode 5. Let's go. So yes, I'll see you on the other side. There were some good things. There were some good things in this one, but there are just parts of the plot that I know I sound like a broken record. I'm 100% aware. Just the parts of the plot I don't like are obviously going to be there still, and I'm obviously going to talk about them. Now, Joyce and Murray landed a plane, didn't die, plot armor. It's fine. It's fine. But now they're there, and then Hopper and I forget his name, the guard. They're there, and then we have Argyle and Will and Mike and Jonathan. They were with Unknown Hero Agent Man, which I think is a great fucking name. I really do like that. I like that part a lot. And then we have the Losers Club. Breaking into Pennywise's house, trying to find the lair of the beast. This has to be intentional now. It's like every single episode is borrowing from a different thing in horror, which we'll update when we do the monster analysis or monster synopsis, whatever the hell I called it in last episode. I don't want to keep going on like a broken record, so I'm going to try and be positive. Let's be positive. What did I like? I like the idea of Max drawing what she saw since she couldn't communicate it. Thought that was cool. And then Nancy put it together, like the puzzle. That reminded me of In the Mouth of Madness. And them going to the house, you have to... It felt very Losers Club. Going to confront Pennywise the first time. It did. Instead of going like, down, they went up. We learn that Vecna is like in the attic, in the upside down. My favorite part, and I'm not sure if I said it in a previous episode or not, but I've been hoping the entire time that the idiot jock brigade was out looking for Eddie. I was hoping that when the one kid turned, it would be in front of 17 going on 26. And it did. It happened just like I wanted. It happened way cooler than I expected, with the poor kid going under the water and then popping out, and all of it cool. There are things that, like, conveniences, and sometimes you look past them. I try to, even if I complain about them or bring them up. You know, this is how a narrative gets pushed forward, is with these conveniences. Was it convenient for him to do it right there without as many sightings in the build like we saw with everyone else? Was it convenient that he got put into the air and then, you know, got deformed like that, and Max was up there for like 700 years? It's part of the story. It's fine. I got what I wanted finally. I got something I wanted finally, with him turning in front of, 17 going on 26. And also Eddie, they're seeing it again. So now he's like, see, I didn't kill Chrissy. You testosterone-ridden fool. I'll get you, you fools. I like that. That was my favorite part of this episode. I should probably start doing that from now on. My favorite part of the episode. So I don't look like, Debbie Downer, Mr. Complainy guy. I'm not bitching about it. I'm not feeling it. Also, copy and paste from like 700 fucking different things. And not even doing it subtly. It is like I guess if you're going to copy, you might as well, copy off some good stuff. But the 11 stuff just feels half-baked. And that could be because we only know half of the story. It's like, we need you because life as we know it is going to end, and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So kids start dying in Hawkins, and it freaks out, like, the government. They show Paul Reiser. Paul Reiser freaks out, gets 11, takes her back for Nina. Brings back, Matthew Modine. Brings him back. Ugh. He's a fine actor. His character just irritates me. I hate, like, manipulative parental figures, but, it's a whole ball of yarn we're not going to unwind today. But I don't see how we got from point A to point K. But I'm hoping, as has happened a few times, where I question something and then they bring it up. They address it in, like, the next episode, which is cool. Like, I can't see the future. I don't know. I guess the only reason I'm still watching is because I'm this far and I enjoy the characters and the relationships. Like, this Nancy Robin teaming is cool, and Steve and Dustin is always cool. And I like how Steve's like, can I be paired with anybody else? That's kind of funny, being self-aware. So I think it's more the characters are keeping me invested, but the story right now just feels like it just feels messy. All over the place. The whole thing with Hopper and Joyce, and that's just garbage to me right now. I know it's harsh. I know it is, but I'm not going to pretend I don't dislike it. I do. I think it's just weak. And I'm going to keep harping on it. I'm sorry. As long as it doesn't, it's so unnecessary. It's just okay. And then Vecna as a villain, like, it just feels so boogeyman. It just feels like all these different things that I've compared it to in the monster synopsis, that it doesn't feel original. It doesn't feel particularly scary. I like what he can do, but it's an amalgamation of so many things that I've seen before. And I'm sure at the end, like, when I do the season review, it's going to be like just all the same shit over and over again, but I'll have a full story then. But right now we have episode 5, so let's get into the notes for that and talk about anything I have not discussed already. When they are going through the house, the government, they have one of those they had the triangle game with the pegs in it. I hypothetically am old enough to have had that game, and I played it a lot. Hypothetically, of course. Also had a Rubik's Cube. I still do, actually. Somewhere. Boom. I am very disappointed in myself right now that I did not grab this earlier. How cool would this have been to, like, been in the background after the episode I complained about it. Yes, Rubik's Cube. Then we see Matthew Modine return. I wrote, oh shit. He says, you're home now. No, she was home before. I don't like him. I hope 11 just, like, his face and his head. He never returns. Then we have the conversation at the table, and Dustin is there, and Max is there, et cetera, et cetera. Nancy's there. Speaking of Nancy, Dustin talks about Max going into Vecna's mind like Freddy Krueger. which I referenced. Thank you. See, again, they keep doing it. And I'm happy. Like, they're self-aware about it. So I can't be mad. I can be like irritated that it's like kind of like, but at the same time, they're not being blind to the fact that they're obviously doing all these things. And also Nancy. Okay. And then 11 wakes up and her head is shaved again. She's back in the Hawkins facility with all the other kids. Yeah, it's just like that like feeling for her, because you're just that's gotta suck. Like, she's made so much progress and trying to have a normal life and, you know, be a regular person, and along comes Papa. I don't like him. I don't like him. I don't like him. Then we get something that I think is clearly foreshadowing. Not even thinking I know it. It's clearly foreshadowing. Will is talking to Mike.
I think it's just scary to open up like that. To say how you really feel. Especially to people you care about the most. What if they don't like the truth?
He stuffed what looked like was like a picture, maybe rolled up and put it in the backpack. I think that's what it was. It was shown. It's never been discussed, which is good. You don't need to bring up everything. And then the whole like thing where it's like, you know, where Dustin said she went into his mind like Freddy Krueger. Again, it's the leap of faith. That's the right outcome. You know, it's like, and there was a chance for them later to explore something, and they didn't. Like, explore more things that aren't the right answer instead of like walking right into the right answer every single time. I get narratively, it moves the story faster, but at the same time, So I like that Will said that to Mike. Like, something's brewing there with Will, and yeah. So I wonder what that picture is, because he grabbed it for a reason. It's sentimental. Like, he brought that specific non-necessity item with him, non-essential item with him. So we'll see if and when that pans out. I'm assuming it will. Other than the scene where the one kid got possessed and killed in front of 17 going on 26 and Eddie, the best scene though, as far as because I was just happy I got what I wanted, so yay to that. But the best scene, like the best character scene, was when Hopper was telling his Agent Orange story, talking about his wife and his kid and all that. And I'm not gonna go deep into that, but I have a very good friend who has a very similar kind of story. So I can only imagine how hard that must have been for them to have heard that, knowing what they went through in their life and are still going through, you know. On one hand, it's very, 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 very cool. Not in a good way. I mean, it was like, yay, cool. It's just like, I'm glad that this story was told, because this story is very real. People like to pretend the government doesn't lie to you, but these poor people got poisoned, and their ability to procreate and have a lineage was stolen from them. And that's supposed to be okay. I like, you know, he says that they were told it was harmless. Clearly it fucking wasn't. It was just a pesticide. But man, I always pause and wonder. There's nothing wrong with thinking about the other side of things. What if, you know, the government has a history of lying to the people for its own agenda? Why would it not be doing it now? You know, it's just something to think about. So while I don't believe, you know, certain things, like I know the Earth isn't flat, but it's fascinating to think about what they believe and why. Like, I like putting myself in someone else's shoes and then just kind of seeing it through their eyes and just trying to kind of grasp where they're coming from. Even if I don't agree with it, it's still very fascinating to me. And then Hopper says, I wasn't cursed. I am the curse. And I 100% identify with that. I feel like everyone that I come in contact with just suffers because of me. I feel that way with Justin a lot. I try not to focus on that, but sometimes I do think about it, and yeah. I know I've been picking on 17 going on 26 a lot, but I have to give major respect, because we are in the same team as far as people who write in all capital letters. I have been absolutely against the cursive. You want to talk about a conspiracy? What the fuck is up with the cursive brainwashing agenda? Why do I have to write in cursive? Why? It's stupid. It's ugly. Why do all the letters have to connect? Why? It's dumb. That's how adults write. No, that's fucking stupid. Write any way you fucking want to write. You want to write in all caps? It was just cool to see someone else writing in all caps. I don't see it very often, and I got to give a shout out when I do. Because I was very anti-cursive in school. It made no sense to me. It felt like we were being assimilated. It was just dumb. Like, why? Why do we have to write in cursive? Why? Why? Like, we can learn it, that's fine, but why do we have to? You can write any fucking way you want. So, Vecna, I don't know. Vecna can stop saying people's names at the beginning and end of every sentence. He's like, Max, what are you doing, Max? Max, go make me a sandwich, Max. Max, don't add any mayo, Max. Max, don't forget the cheese, Max. Max. I don't like Vecna. I don't like him. Then I wrote, they break into the house to fight Pennywise. I mean Vecna, sorry. I like the idea of Marie being a black belt in the way that I didn't like that entire, obviously that entire subplot I absolutely dislike. But I like the idea of him sparring versus a real world scenario. I like the idea that it's different because it is. Some of this I'm saving for patrons, so you can have little nuggets, little Easter eggs to read. But the gang that is on the run from the government, they're going to fucking Salt Lake City to talk to Susie. I am not going to enjoy the next episode. I hate Susie. Fine actress. Don't get it confused. I hate the character. She's fucking obnoxious. And I don't... I'm just be prepared after the next episode. Just be prepared. If you don't want to hear me bitch about her, just don't watch then, I guess. But I don't like her. She's fucking irritating. And the never-ending story bullshit. God, that was the worst part of season. It was awful. I wish I'd been doing reactions to that. I wish I'd been doing reactions. I think my eyes would have been rolling in the back of my head like freaking Max's were in the last episode. Okay, then I referenced the part that could have been a clue. They didn't explore it. Steve is in the room, opens the vent, grabs the jar with a spider in it. Spider crawls on him, he drops it. I would drop it too. It'd be fucking scary. Spiders don't scare me, but like a Black Widow, I've seen them in real life when I lived in Phoenix. Almost backed into one. Remind me of that story time. The time I encountered 3 deadly venomous things in 1 week. Remind me someone in the comments to tell that story in story time. Phoenix is scary. It's like little Australia. But no, then they just close the door and leave. But maybe the spiders were a clue. Maybe, like, they weren't, but they could have been. Explore it. Why were there spiders in the vent? That seems very specific of a thing to not explore. But that's not the right clue. So we need to just explore it. Humor me. Come on. Then we got Papa bribing all the kids with shitty candy. Yuri still sucks. Yuri's awful. Can we have the Russian guy from the last season? He was adorable. Why can't we have him back? And then at the end, Eleven is brought back to life because Papa is a massive dickbag and fucking almost killed her. And she's running away, and then people tackle her or whatever and hold her down. She goes, "Rah!" And the lights explode, and she kabooms them and kapows them, like my Patreon. Haha. She has her powers back briefly. So it's like the flicker of the light that we saw when she was doing the whole light thing they were doing with the circle of lights. They flickered on just for a minute, and maybe that was the analogy we were going for. And then when she has it spinning around full speed, she'll be like super mega 11 then. And my last note for this episode is just kill him already. Talking about Papa. I don't like him very much. Those are the notes for episode 5. So yeah, I'm going to take a little lunch break, make some food, try and cool down. I am very sweaty and gross right now because of the heat. Gonna take a short break and then continue on with episode 6. We're gonna try and finish these up tonight. Well, the part 1 tonight. I can't finish it up because it's not out yet. Part 2. So as usual, I will wait. I almost forgot to do monster synopsis. All right. As I said, I'm going to end every episode or every review of the episode with the update of Vecna and who and what he is now. So let's go through it. Vecna is... he looks like the monster from Jeepers Creepers. He has the powers from It Follows. He has the motive of I Know What You Did Last Summer. He has the powers of Professor X and Cerebro. He's also the Ring, because you die in 7 days. He's Carrie, because he can move things around. He has the body shape and look of a Resident Evil monster. He also has the powers of Freddy Krueger. He can kill you in your dreams and in your mind. And he is now Pennywise. Boom. How many more things is Vecna going to be? Stay tuned to find out. Now, the air is on. I was like, oh shit, I forgot. I'm going to go back and make food now. So yeah, see you after episode 6. Bye. Oh yeah. Ow, ow, ow. Oh yeah. Ow, ow, ow. Chicka, chicka. Well, I wasn't expecting to see that. And also, Steve got taken to the upside down. All right, we just finished episode 6. I'm pretty much just riding in the car at this point, y'all. I don't know what else I can say. It's just gonna be... Apparently, Joyce and Murray and Yuri are going to jailbreak Hopper from the slave labor camp. Apparently, Hopper and all of the other Russian gentlemen, the prisoners, are going to fight a Demigorgon, because of course, of all the places that Hopper could have been taken, in all of Russia, the worst, most secret prison ever, who somehow lets an American live, who already escaped and attacked guards more than once, has been disruptive, and tried to escape, and he's still alive. They're not going to kill him. I get it. Plot armor, but come on. Apparently, this slave labor camp, the secret, malignant, evil camp, somehow just happens to have a Demigorgon. It just feels like they are trying to tether. What this feels like is, this feels like that they had this entire different story with Joyce and Hopper and all this, like a non-Stranger Things based one, like it's a spinoff, and now they're trying to Cloverfield it to be part of the Stranger Things universe, is what it feels like. The Hopper story is dumb. It's been dumb, and it just got really... If you like it, that's fine. It is. I'm not trying to shit on something I like, but I'm also allowed to not like it. And this is an honest review of what I'm seeing. So this feels like very much square peg round hole. This feels very much like, 10 Cloverfield Lane, which was a completely different movie, and they just tacked Cloverfield onto it. This feels like it was a completely different spinoff, and they just tack Stranger Things onto it. That's what it feels like. Like, what are the fucking odds that the guy who has experience fighting Demigorgons is in a slave labor camp in Russia, where there is a Give me that one. Come on. Come on. Yeah, this is dragging the show down for me. And then with Joyce and Murray and Yuri going to the labor camp, this is just like the kids infiltrating the secret Russian base all over again. Just, it's a little bit much. And yeah. Then the On the Road gang goes and visits Susie. And that was just... What's this, like, completely absurd thing we can do and put it in the show? Like, it felt almost like slapstick and absurd comedy when it just felt like it kind of jumped the shark on that concept, like the slapstick and absurd, like, did Susie have to be in, like, mega dysfunctional house with, like, crazy wild children, one who is a Native American, I think, and the other one is a director, and other ones are cooking, and Susie's on the roof playing with the antenna. Like, I don't know. And then the dad is in the study all the time because he's a horrible parent. I will get to that later. That just, I know it feels like I'm bitching about everything, but they just keep doing stuff like that. I can't not talk about it. They keep doing stuff like this. I just, take a shot every time I just sigh. And then the main group is trying to find Eddie. 17 going on 26 is a fucking moron. But now you know what it was like to grow up in the 80s. Like, that was everyone. Like, every so-called Christian family values, which is just a fucking horseshit term coined by just, I'm not gonna get into that. It's stupid. And it's one of those American phrases that means nothing if you dig below the surface, just so people can feel better than and box themselves in a way that if you don't fit into that box, then something's wrong with you. But it's like, you boxed yourself in there and labeled it. Why do I have to conform to that label? You know, that kind of thing. You know, very much Team Eddie in his speech earlier on about conformity and all that. It's 100%. You know, 17 going on 26 is just dumb. And it gives me flashbacks to just like fear-mongering and the pitchfork crowd. You don't need logic. You don't need reason. You just need sensationalism and some fuel for your brain to ignite. And I use brain very, very loosely. So I'm glad they're tackling that. I am. It's annoying. His character's supposed to be annoying. His character's supposed to be kind of ignorant and reactionary. Being those two things does not make you right. I don't need to know all the answers. I know what I know. Then you don't know anything because you don't know all the answers. And I'm trying to get too preachy, but I lived through it. So they still think Eddie did it because I was hoping that 17 going on 26 would see that and be like, wait, Eddie he was right here. He wasn't like going like, well, no, my God, or you know, he was just like, holy shit, he looked just as afraid as you did, sir. But when you live in a bubble that you construct for yourself, there is nothing beyond the periphery. So that's annoying. He started a freaking mob, and the police can't do anything, and the poor parents are trying to rally around their, they're trying to find their kids. Yeah, then the gang, they figure out the compass thing. Again, it's fine. It's another convenience, but it's fine. These conveniences are what moves the narrative along. I just wish they were not so like, this is the right thing, and then this is the right thing, and this is the right thing, and this is the right thing, and here we are. You could I just think you could tell the same story in a more nuanced way. But yeah, they determine that there's a gate, a snack size gate in the lake, and Steve graciously volunteers to take his clothes off and jump into the lake and find it. Then he gets pulled into the Upside Down, and those scary bat things are attacking him. That was just horrific. Like, that was just like, holy crap, poor guy. Jeez. And then everyone dived in after him, so I'm assuming they're gonna go in there and save him, and everyone will be in the Upside Down. So then they'll all be in the Upside Down to fight Vecna, I assume. I guess. But then we have Max and Lucas and Dustin captured by the police, or, there. So we'll see what happens. They're split up again, it looks like. We'll see what happens. I don't know about that. So that's the gist of what's going on. I've already accepted I am not 100% on board with this season. I think if you removed the entire Cloverfield tacked on plot, I was just going to accept it, but then they had to tack on the Demogorgon thing. So yeah, I'm in the car. I'm along for the ride, and we're going to see how part one ends when we go to that. Let's go ahead and go through the notes really quick and just talk about anything I may have written down, specifics or moments I'd liked that I did not cover. I loathe unnecessary jump scares. I think they're cheap, they're lazy, they're irritating. When the fish was swimming in the thing, and then the Vecna, the whatever, grabbed the fish. Wasn't necessary. I jumped. It hurt. I'm Mr. Glass, so It wasn't enjoyable. Then they're torturing that one agent guy who got captured by the government. And I'm like, there's a lot of torturing people by the government in this season. Like, an unusual amount, it feels like. Then Papa says to 11, he says, we must proceed carefully. If we go too fast, you could be lost. And I'm like, dude, you almost just fucking killed her in the last one. Like, he learned his lesson. No, he didn't. No, he didn't. Don't give me that shit. He did not. I would just head at the end. And also, why not just make that speech to her in the beginning? Did you need her to be afraid? Like, really, like, you can't help her get her powers back in a more organically nice way? I mean, I get he's not a nice person, but I don't know. I think he could have approached that with, other than like, I'm going to inject you and throw you in this thing, and you're scared shitless now. Have fun reliving your past that you forgot. Maybe he needed that. Maybe he needed the adrenaline, the endorphins, all that stuff. Maybe. I don't know. And then when the cop said, we'll be having a meeting at town hall, everyone is welcome, I wrote, not a town hall scene. I hate those because it's always stupid, the stupid public. Then when Joyce and Murray and Yuri relayed their plan, or when Joyce and Murray relayed their plan and Yuri, you know, they're all doing their thing, I wrote, they're going to do a fucking prison break, the three of them, versus all of the other people. Which it turned out, not necessarily, but we'll see how it plays out. I know I'm being doom and gloom right now, but I have not enjoyed this as I've not been, you know, shy about. It keeps getting progressively more absurd. I can accept absurdity to a degree. I accept what was going on at Susie's house. I think it was stupid and unnecessary, and was a little. It was just a little too over the top, too almost caricature-ish. But this is just. It's Cloverfield. You know, it's 10 Cloverfield Lane before it was 10 Cloverfield Lane. It's 10 Lane, pretty much. And then the prisoners get taken to their Last Supper. The Last Supper. I hate listening to the sound of exaggerated eating sounds. I know it's supposed to be gross, but it's just like, it's like that ASMR stuff. I thought about doing a video, seeing how long I could last before I take the headphones off, because I hate it that much. And then the part where Hopper's talking about the monster not of this world and describes it, and I wrote a random slave camp has access to the Upside Down monster. I wrote other side because I couldn't remember Upside Down at the time, and I also write in the dark. And then the attendant, whatever, at the Hawkins underground facility thing where all the kids are being experimented on, talks about number 1, who supposedly didn't exist. He's not a myth. He's real. And 11 finds out Papa lies. Of course he does. Of course he does. And that poor guy was getting tasered later. That was sad. And he tells her, this place and the people here aren't what you think. So, watching this unfold for her. Like, I get what they're doing in getting her powers back, having her retread it, being older, but having blocked it out, but then reliving it and remembering, and, you know, fixing that, the wiring in her brain. And I also get not having her there also forces the Scooby-Doo gang to figure this out on their own. You know, using their own collective talents to trying to figure this out. So it's cool. And then I wrote, you know, is the attendant guy, I don't know what to call him, but I can't think of the word right now. It's really freaking high. I wrote, is he going rogue in her mind? Which, of course not, but at the same time, if these are memories, then okay, it makes sense. Then we have the stupid town hall meeting, 17 going on 26, starts quoting the Bible, because of course he does. People who haven't read the book or actually follow what it says like to quote it a lot for their own personal means. In the 80s, it was fucking obnoxious. I mean, it's obnoxious now too, but you know. Oh my God, heavy metal music's the devil, and D&D and the Satanism. I would like to say Americans have gotten smarter, but they're just scared of new things that they're, you know, brainwashed to be scared of. It's America. It's, yeah. Someone please adopt us. Please adopt us. Norway or Finland, or those would be nice. Then they figure out the wonky gate. And then Susie's dad, he's not a very good one, walks out and they sneak in to get the location, and you know, and Susie was much more tolerable this time, which was good. This is a better use of her character than last season. Same thing with Lucas's sister. Her usage this season is much better than last season. I thought she was. I liked her character, I did, but at times she was a bit much. I know she was supposed to be, and the actress does a fantastic job. But at the same time, the way they worked her character was a little kind of like, take it back a little bit. You know, she's being used okay here. But then when the dad is walking around and he gets like shot with the plasticky arrow and the death scene and and the kitchen's on fire and the swords and all that, and I'm like, you are a crappy father. Just saying. How are CPS not there? Then we see 11 be the recipient of magic power bullying, which was, you kind of get why she lashed out now. It wasn't just her getting her powers and then just going mega ultra crazy nuts. But at the same time, I felt bad for her because like no matter where she went, she was getting bullied. It's like, God. Like kind of reminded me of like how Hopper talked about being cursed. And I mentioned it before as well. Another way I think I'm cursed is I've always thought growing up, I emitted this pheromone or something that just said pick on me. Because I've been picked on from such a young age. I was a little guy when I started getting picked on. And I never understood like why it was always me. You know, in grade school and we have, you know, junior high here in high school in America. It never let up. It just got more and more and more and more. And in high school, it's just like the apex. It was awful. As I've alluded to before. No matter where she goes, she gets bullied and picked on. Because she sticks out or she's different. And when you're like that, it's like her, she's confused. Like, why am I the target? And you wonder that. You do, especially if you've had it happen to you from a young age. Like, she was young when it happened to her. And it's been happening her entire life. When she finally escaped and got a life of her own, she's still being bullied and still being picked on. So, I can relate to that. And that feeling of isolation and I'm the freak. Something's wrong with me. Why can't I fit in? Why doesn't anybody like me? And why do the people who say they like me, why are they not? Why are they not really there for me? Why are they not really my friend? You know, that kind of thing. I could go deeper into it, but it just reminds me a lot of what I went through. I mean, I wasn't getting like magic power bullied, but thankfully, but it just reminded me of my own past. And I wrote, oh shit, Steve's in the Upside Down. Ooh. So yeah, we are on the final episode of part 1. I asked TJ when part 2 comes out. He told me July 1st. I am not sure how I'm going to release these. I may just wait a month and then release them in thirds. That's what I was going to do. I thought like part 2 was going to come out like next week. I didn't think it was going to be a whole month. But we'll cross that bridge when we get to it. All right, I need to turn the air back on and hit play on this as we go to episode 7, the final episode for part 1. It is super freaking long. So I'm going to have a bio break and stop sweltering in this god-awful heat because summer sucks. Bum 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 bum